This segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still phone papa pair fee. Now, this festive season, all accessories on phones have been discounted up to 40% at Franco Trading Enterprise. So come to Franco Trading Enterprise for your phone accessories and, of course, all your gadgets as well. Talking about the gadgets, we have mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, many, many more. All you need to do is to come to any of our shops or pick the number that you see on the screen now, or to make things very simple, download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app. Now, when you download the app, you can purchase all your items through this app and we'll deliver it to you at your doorstep. For further inquiries, contact us on www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still phone papa pair fee. Now, let's go all the way to Kumasi, and it's all about the Lancaster Kumasi City. Now, this hotel is the best hotel in Kumasi. So if you are going to a stake room and you are saying to yourself, I want to get a good place to sleep, don't worry, because we've got you covered. Whether it's an individual trip or a business trip or a family trip, we've got you covered. We have the right ambience for you. So just make sure that you contact us or you book a room with us and we'll take very good care of you. Talking about the food, yummy, delicious food. That's what we serve there. And you will never regret having a good stay at the Kumasi City Hotel. So make sure you come to Kumasi, and when you're coming there, just make sure you book the Lancaster Kumasi City and you have a very good time. Now it's time for us to have our conversation on Newsflash, but before then, I think it's only honorable that I introduce to you my guest for this morning. Representing the CPP this morning is the one and only Openyi Kwame Chantwa Esquire.
Good morning.
Good morning, the one and only.
Is that my new name, one and only?
Yeah, but you're the one and only Openyi Kwame Chantwa.
I'm a simple man, no.
But you're the one and only.
I just have a big mouth, that's all. I'm a simple man. I like.
You are carrying the Chantwas very high. So
I like that one. This election period, you didn't sleep.
No, I didn't sleep. This is the media, you don't give me time to sleep.
24 hours.
24 hours, yes.
I was wondering how you were doing.
I didn't sleep during the day. From work, I would go to TV3. Continuous. It's a mind thing, you know. When you set your mind to do something, your body, you can control your body.
Right, right.
So that's the way I did.
And now you can rest.
Berry.
Is it?
You know, he's my schoolmate.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Where?
He's a Santa Clausian.
Oh, Santa Clausian.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. And you both decided to go into politics. Now, talking about that, we have him for the first time, Honorable Kofi Adams. He's the MP for Buem constituency. Good morning, Honorable.
good morning.
How are you?
Well, by grace of God, we're doing good.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You fought hard, eh?
Well, we fought hard. Ghanaians fought along with us, and God made it finally.
The NPP says that you campaigned on lies and it will be difficult for you to, you know, deliver what you said you will.
Well, it's going to be a tough job because the country has been messed up completely, but we know what it is that we are about. We know what it is that we want to do. We've set out to execute a project, and that explains why His Excellency, the President-elect, is not even waiting to be sworn in. Even as the transition goes on, he started taking some actions that will enable him function effectively when he takes over on the 7th of January 2025. So it is true that they have messed up. It is true that they think that we cannot do what it is that we set out to do, but we'll carry the same Ghanaians that gave us this opportunity to help in dealing with the situation. Just fighting against corruption, whether it is moral, whether environmental, financial, and what have you, would help us deal with a number of issues that confront us. We're not going to behave like them, where you end up covering up things. We're not going to behave like them, where you sit in Accra and say you have purchased these quantities of food items for your schools, when that same has not happened, but you take money for it. These are things that will become the thing of the past. So it is true they've messed up. It is true they've destroyed the country. It is true they've destroyed the economy. But we are so committed and we will be able to do what it is that Ghanaians expect from us. We will rally all round. We will carry everybody on board. That is what is going to be happening. So we couldn't have campaigned on lies. Are they saying that all Ghana, the entirety, the 16 regions responded? It wasn't like just one area. So Ghanaians are all liars and believers in lies. That the pastors, the imams, the chiefs, the civil society, all of you in the media who were reporting all those issues out there, you were reporting lies? No, it couldn't have been lies. Clearly, we saw all these things happening. Tell me which issue was raised and discussed. That didn't happen. At a certain point, even some of us felt that the issues were so many, or they were doing it intentionally in order to distract the media and even as the politicians. But we found a way of carrying as many as possible along with us. So we couldn't have campaigned on lies. If there was ever any team that campaigned on lies, then it was the MPP that raised all the issues that they raised, that subsequently they are telling us, yes, I said if the fundamentals are weak, exchange rate will expose you. That is true then and true now. But if the exchange rate has become so bad, it doesn't mean that the fundamentals are weak. It is only the MPP that campaigned on lies and found difficulty explaining themselves when the situation arose. So we didn't campaign on lies. We campaigned on what was happening. But the reality, once we campaign on reality, we'll rally everybody around and make sure that we all together help solve the problem. But good morning to you and good morning to our viewers and good morning to my lovely constituents of Buim.
Nice.
And good morning to the respectable Jantua carrying the name high.
Talking about that, we'll have Mr. George Aisi joining us pretty shortly. He's representing the NPP. I'll start off with what the newspapers are reporting and then we delve into our topics. Now, one of the biggest conversations that's happening is to do with oral Operation Recover It All, or Operation Recover All Loot, as it's been termed by the NDC. Yesterday, we saw that the transition committee formed another committee, that is the Operation Recover All Loot Committee, which is led by Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Yesterday, he spoke that they will not witch hunt, and also they will not take salaries or any stipend whatsoever when it comes to this committee. They'll work from their pockets to make sure they deliver. But before then, let's take a look at what the newspapers are reporting. Now, I'll start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. Citizen petitions president to remove Chief Justice. Opening this particular conversation, I just want you to touch a bit on it. Some people are saying that it's possible. Some people are saying it is not possible. What do you say about it?
Well, you caught me off guard.
Yeah, I just want a little, because you are there. This is your space.
The Chief Justice has a tenure of office, which is for 7 years. So the evidence has to be beyond everything for the president to decide, yes, I'm going to move you. But I find it difficult that President Mahama will do that. The judiciary is different from the executive and the legislature. It's the last bastion of hope for anybody. So I don't know, but I don't think, and I'll eat humble pie if it's so, I don't think President Mahama, elect, would do that. It depends on the evidence against her. Right. But just to comment on what my brother was talking about initially, you see, the writing was on the wall 2020. And unfortunately, the MPP didn't take that into consideration. Because if they had, they would not have gotten the type of results they got for this one. And what was the writing? When you look at the votes, President Akufo-Addo's votes were cut in half, wasn't it? From nearly 1 million to 500,000. The second one was Parliament, a balanced Parliament.
For the first time in history.
The people were saying something. And unfortunately, the MPP didn't catch it then. If they had caught it then, they would have worked with the people. They would have listened to the people more. They would have done things that the people wanted. But they took it as, oh, we have won. The people are not part and parcel of it. It's a lesson for the NDC today. if they do not take what the people have said and they also go out and do whatever they want to do, then we don't have any 8-year presidential slot anymore. It's now 4 years.
Right.
If you do anything within the 4 years, they'll horn you out. However, if you do the right thing, the people say, they did the right thing. They stuck to their manifesto. Yes, they might not be able to do all, but they've done quite a lot of their manifesto. Let's give them a second chance. And this is where the smaller parties should also take advice. Because right now, any party can win an election in Ghana.
That's so true.
But if we, the smaller parties, so-called smaller parties, especially the CPP, if we don't start gathering ourselves together and being the kind of force to prove to the people that we can rule, then let's forget it. It won't happen.
Anyway, experts divided over Mahama's anti-corruption committee, and this is one of our topics for this morning. GES launches one-stop portal for staff data, and President can now assent to anti-gay bill. Supreme Court dismisses 2 suits. We'll also talk a bit about this later. The Business Analyst newspaper is my next newspaper, the Business Analyst. Election aftermath, female workers at Goil fight for job security. Call on Chief of Staff Jane Nana to intervene. Roman Father commends IGP and others for peaceful elections. Ghana secures $316 million in FDI during first 3 quarters of 2024. Beyond the ballot, why Ghana's media must focus on the transition, not post-election debate. This coming from Trinebua Kodria Dixon Esquire. And the banner headline is, Gold bars belong to Bank of Ghana. PMMC condemns attack on National Assay Center. The Daily Dispatch newspaper is my next newspaper. The Daily Dispatch. Who are likely to be in Mahama's list of 60 ministers is a question, but then you see pictures of some former members in his government when he was in power. We see Mr. Julius Debra, Mr. Kujetua Blakwa, Alhaji Haruna Idrisu, Mr. Seth Tekbe, and Mr. Amabua. Maybe I should ask Honorable Adams his take on this one. Honorable Adams?
Well, my attention was not there. So.
Yeah, so there's a question here. Who are likely to be in Mahama's list of 60 ministers?
Well, it's only His Excellency John Dramani Mahama himself who has the information as to who he wants to put there. But he has a huge resource at his disposal, experienced and new ones with all manner of energy that I'm sure he will bring on board. Governance is like composting. You would have to have some of the old and a lot of also of the new with energy to be able to guide them into the way forward. So I believe that he knows. He is in the Fourth Republic. We've not had anybody with the kind of experience that he's had. He's been an assembly member, he's been an MP, he's been a deputy minister, he's been a minister, he's been a vice president, he's been a president, he's been opposition leader for 8 years, and now back into the presidency. So the experience that he has, nobody has it. So he sees all of us and knows who really could do what it is that he set out to do. So he has a huge resource at his disposal to select from. But also just a short bite on my senior's position. The president is not interested in removing anybody. The Constitution makes provisions for that. Once the president receives a petition to act in a particular way, constitutionally, he would have to act.
Okay.
And I'm sure the story is in relation to H. Prempre's petition to the president for the removal of the Chief Justice. And the Constitution sets out what it is that should happen when such petitions are received. And so the processes will be gone through, and if a
the
proper
committee
case
finds it needful that it's removed,
exactly, that will happen. Because once provided in the Constitution, it means that it could happen. And it is not because the president wants it this way or that way, no.
Okay. All right, so we are going to use the Constitution going forward then. Why ditch Bawumia when Akufo-Addo tried 3 times before becoming president? And this is coming from Napo. Promoting safer cooking, NPA advocates gas over firewood and charcoal. Our final newspaper is the New Republic. The New Republic, PMMC cartel in bizarre gold bullion exports. And we've seen this video trending where, you know, they intercepted gold bars that were being transported. As to where, we don't know yet, but we've heard PMMC, you know, talk saying that it belongs to Bank of Ghana. Open, have you seen the video?
Yes, I've seen the video,
Yeah.
but
the details, we are yet to know more about it, right?
The processes are quite clear. PMMC have a responsibility. They can export gold on behalf of
Bank
clients.
of Ghana. Okay, client.
Once the assay is done, and they do the assay, once that assay is done to see the purity of the gold, they have the mandate to transport, and they do it all the time. This was for Bank of Ghana. So they assayed it, and they were transporting it. I think it was going to the bullion where Bank of Ghana keeps its gold. And so I don't see how, because documents are there.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
it
they've
is
shown the
for,
documents,
everything is there. And it is PMMC's responsibility if you want them to do it. Now, because Bank of Ghana has started storing gold, they are the right people to handle the gold on behalf of Ghana. So the quest that, you know, President Akufo-Addo and this, I don't think that's, I don't think that's
You're trying to play games with our minds.
I don't think so. Because yesterday, when I heard it, I checked. And I have done some exports with them in the past before. So I know the process that they use. And it's just a process that they're using to do it. And in fact, this government strengthened their mandate in terms of handling of gold. So if you realize now, nobody can export gold out of Ghana. It has to go through PMMC.
So where's the gold, though? No,
this gold was supposed to go
to Bank of Ghana, yes.
Yes.
So is it still in the custody of the police?
Well, they've taken it to Bank of Ghana's reserve
okay.
on the Spintex Road.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Now, talking about that, Operation Recover All Loot, that's our main topic for this morning. And we'll also delve into the anti-LGBTQ plus bill that finally the president can assent to it for it to be passed. And let's take a look at the people or the persons that become a committee to recover all the loot. Okay, so not talking about that. The president or the chairman for this group is Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. Mr. Daniel Domlevo, who is a former Auditor General, is a member. COP retired Nathaniel Kofi Boache is also a member. Mr. Martin Pebu, a private legal practitioner, and Mr. Raymond Archer is an investigative journalist who is also a member of this. And this is what it says. It says, the anti-corruption with Operation Recover All Loot as a major plank formed a core part of His Excellency John Mahama's policy platform in the 2024 campaign, and he intends to hit the ground running on these commitments. So finally, this committee has been set. And talking about that, this is what the chairman said. He said, we want witch hunts will focus on transparency and not revenge. But yesterday, when the list came out, everybody thought there was going to be some revenge of some sort. Mr. George Aisi, representing the NPP, has also joined us. Good morning, Mr. Aisi.
Good morning, my delectable.
How are you today? You're doing well?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's good
I'm
to have
happy
you.
to be with my senior brother and MP, Honorable Kofi Adams.
It's been long.
Yeah, it's been long. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But how are you taking it as a party?
We've taken it. It's not been easy, but we've taken it in our strides. We have accepted that the Ghanaian thinks the eight-year cycle is what it's going to be as of the results that we had after the elections. I remember in 2008, a guy saw me and said, George, you know, he's the independent-minded type. And he said, George, it doesn't matter what you do. Once it's 8 years, we'll change you. I'll vote against you. And I said,
really?
He said, you can do whatever. And I said, why? He said, do you know what gives Ghana peace? I said, yes, because the other side knows they will come. So even if there's tension and cold, they will be patient till the 8 years. And that's what gives us the peaceful nation we have. I reflected, but I thought, but now I'm beginning to believe that it is. It's been a very devastating blow. We didn't anticipate it. The CSOs were virtually against us. And, you know, we should have listened to them. We disagreed a lot with them, but the results have shown that something didn't go right. And we're going to reflect, rebuild, and possibly recapture.
I like the spirit. That's a good one. So it didn't go too well, but they'll make sure they reflect and come back better. And the NDC is saying they are not going to give Gaba. They are going to take over for 16 years. So let's see what they'll do.
Well, they reflect, rebuild, and recapture. It was the same 3 R's that they used after they lost. And found a way of deceiving Ghanaians and coming back and doing the worst performance that they have put out here. So if they are saying that they are going, how are they going to reflect and come out differently? How are you going to come out differently? They are going to come out with the same situation. And I don't think that to some extent, will disagree with him that Ghanaians just give 8 years and then after that, even if you have done so well, they will throw you out. I don't think that should be the case. And like Senior Janto has said, that there's nothing like safe seats anymore. There's nothing like 2 terms anymore. They can actually give you just a term. It will depend on your performance. And there's nothing like this is a small party. The fact that seats that you never will think that maybe an NDC candidate, no matter how good that person was, could make an impact in that constituency. Today, we have won such seats. Should tell you that there's nothing like a small party. And there is social media.
But it wasn't won by a small party.
Okay, Mr. Adams.
I'm saying constituencies that you would have thought.
I'm
saying that constituencies that you would have thought.
You never,
Exactly.
I know, right? Anyway, so we can go into our topic now.
And my constituency, Lower Western Chim.
This country is what, 70% Christian?
Yes.
I think God worked his way.
Really?
Yes, nobody saw this coming. And we were praying. We were saying, well, don't do this. We all thought that, we're going into a war.
No, I didn't
But
think
God,
so.
in his own wisdom, weaved this thing and brought the power back to the people.
But opinion, I remember you did say that looking at the path that the NPP was on, Ghanaians were going to vote against them.
Yes.
So you saw it coming?
Well, I saw it coming.
Okay.
If you don't listen, and the way Ghanaians were frustrated with the system, definitely, it was written on the wall.
All right, so now talking about the list of Operation Recover All Loot. Honorable Samuel Kujetu-Ablakwa, Chairman, Mr. Daniel Domlevo, former Auditor General, who is a member, COP retired Nathaniel Kofi Boakye, who is also a member, Mr. Martin Pigbu, who is a private legal practitioner, he's also a member, and Mr. Raymond Archer, an investigative journalist, who is also a member. Openyi, what a list. What do you think about the list?
I thought you start with him.
I want to start with you.
Start with him.
You are more neutral on this ground. Let me start with you.
When I saw the list, I tried as much as possible not to make the list personal and to see the ability, it's not capacity, the ability of the people that have been chosen. Honorable, the chairman, Honorable Okujetu-Ablakwa, he's been fighting corruption, for a while now. Same as Domlevo, Kofi Boakye, Martin Pigbu, same, Raymond Archer. I'm not sure about Raymond Archer, but this is the choice that the president-elect wants to handle this. Look, if you've listened, there has been quite a number of questions why the NDC did not get the institutions that handle corruption to handle this particular issue. But is President-elect, is he in power?
No, he's not in power. So.
Not in power.
Okay.
And this is the way he feels he wants to handle it. When you look at, and again, it's a question of trust. It's a huge question of trust. And why do I say that? The OSP, when you look at the complaints that were received 2022, 2024, about 419. How many of these have gotten to convictions? 0. In terms of recovery, it's only been able to recover just more than 3 million cedis between 2023 and 2024. So, and I could feel that because President Mahama is not president at this moment, hasn't taken office at this moment, he didn't want it to get, or they didn't want to get mixed up with the normal ways that the president will handle this thing. And let's face it, President Akufo-Addo is still president of Ghana. He hasn't left power.
Yeah, until the 7th of January.
Until the 7th of January, he's still president. And I reckon that if he wanted to do that, that's President Mahama wanted to do that, he might probably have to seek permission, or he might have to, or he might have to take a complaint to the OSP with evidence. This particular committee is to go out there and fish for information. That's one of the objectives that they are supposed to do. So based on that, I don't see how he can now say that he should give it to all the other institutions. Right. So let's see how it goes. Let's see what comes out of it. And probably we don't know whether they are going to change the OSP or not. So let's see. I think at this present moment, not much can be done. What can be done is let him do what he has to do now, and then we take it from there. But for me, it's a good start. Corruption is a bane in society.
Now, when we look at
and then when you look at it, in some of the things they have added, the list they've added, the one big one for me is the cathedral.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know Honorable Samuel Okujetua Blakwa has spoken so much about the cathedral.
Yes.
So that is.
So
but you don't think that's witch hunting?
No, I don't think so.
But let's look at
look, at the present moment, we cannot say it's witch hunting, but I don't think it's witch hunting. $58 million
to create a hole
is in a hole. The question is, will they go to President Akufo-Addo to also get his side of the story, especially with his immunity? I think his immunity is for 3 years. So will they go? And I don't think whether immunity or no immunity, anybody's above the law. So I expect them, in gathering information, they question President Akufo-Addo also. President Ken Ofori-Atta, all the board members, all of them should be questioned.
Even those who resigned should be questioned?
Everybody. The part and parcel. The fact that you resigned doesn't mean you went part and parcel of it from the word go. Everybody. But I don't want us to look at it as witch hunting. Ghanaians and the people have voted against the government in power now for a particular reason. This might be one of the reasons. That $58 million, do you know what it could have done? It could have done quite a lot of things. Apart from the $58 million, all those buildings that were demolished, that's additional money that has been wasted. So there's a huge financial debt in this cathedral thing. So let them investigate and let's see.
Now, talking about somebody like Mr. Domlevel, people feel he's been added to it because of what happened to him, and out of his pains, he probably will be witch hunting because he went through a lot. His removal as Auditor General.
I hope he doesn't go down that line, but for me, the reason why I think they've added him, he's got expertise in audit. He's been an Auditor General. He understands the process and the principles of these things. So they've added him to him, and you might say they could have gotten any other ex-Auditor General to do it. But that is the President-elect's prerogative. We'll be discussing it when LGBTQ, when the Parliament took it to the President. What did he say? He said, I'm taking it to the courts. It was his prerogative. That is what he wanted to do. And I don't think anybody should point a finger at President-elect Mahama for what he's chosen. It is his prerogative. He has the mandate to do it, and he's done it. So,
okay.
You should question it.
Honorable Kofi Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Domlevel.
Yes.
People, the same question I asked Openyi Kwame Jantua. He went through a lot, and the current administration, that's the NPP administration, he was the Auditor General, he was taken out of post. He felt that he was treated unfairly. Now he's in the committee of Operation Recover All Loot. Won't his emotions play?
Before he comes in, remember that the Supreme Court did say that his removal was illegal.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't see why.
So then emotions, because if Supreme Court finally came out after how many years telling us that his removal was illegal, then he will be peeved, he will be hurt about what happened.
How can he witch hunt something like that when he's not the only one? He can't witch hunt. I don't think so.
All
I
right.
don't think so. But we have different opinions, so.
Maybe Mr. Adams has a different opinion.
Clearly speaking, I don't see Mr. Domelevo as someone who carries, I'll call it, negative emotions to his work. Every human being has emotions, but the emotion may be negative to the work that you've been set out to do. And I don't think that listening to him and knowing him, I don't think he brings that to the work that he's been asked to do. And like Lawyer Jantua has indicated, this team, amongst gathering properly in a professional manner some of the issues we already know, there are many more we didn't know. They say when a frog dies, that is when you see its true length. There were a number of, the ones we've discussed in this 8 years period of the MPP administration are areas where either through our work or through the work of the Auditor General, it came out in his reports. And so we got it discussing, or through parliamentary oversight, or through some media leaks somewhere, they intercept something and we discuss. But there's still so much that was happening in boardrooms that people knew, but they were afraid
To talk?
to talk.
Okay.
They were afraid to raise it. Now that freedom is here, that independence is here, and there's a lot of information that is being thrown out there. Contracts that are being signed or that were signed that should not have been signed, that didn't go through due process, that the media eye or even parliamentary oversight has not seen. Now people are talking. People are saying certain properties, lands, other assets that has been taken over in a manner that did not follow due process. That even after the elections, things are being moved from where they have been originally stored to other places.
Alleged,
people
right?
are talking. Alleged.
You're right.
People are talking. Of course, some of it have video evidence. Sometimes they follow. Whether it is through work or is part of stealing from the state, nobody knows. What this team would help to do is to collect also all this information. If in a warehouse that belongs to, say, ECG, things are being moved from that warehouse to a private warehouse, and people are talking, you have to collect that information and post it down. You may not have full investigative powers, but someone needs to. A group needs to keep that information so that post 7th January, when all the powers, when all the executive powers now rest in the hands of the president-elect, when he would have been sworn in, he can now begin to what? Give orders for proper actions to be taken. But if you don't put this system in place to receive all this information, I, Kofi, receive a bit. Lawyer Jantua receives a bit. Maybe if people trust
Mr. Isi.
Mr. Isi that, okay, maybe he's a fine gentleman, possibly maybe he's not got part of the MPP team so much in him, so we can tell him some of the things. Maybe he also receives a bit. You receive a bit. And after some time, you are not seeing your way clear. You may forget.
Okay.
So it is good to have a body in place that will also create other outlets, the X, the various...
Some people feel the body, some of them are aggrieved persons. Talking about somebody like Raymond Archer, whose building was pulled down, he was not happy about it.
Well,
and, you know, he's a part of the committee. Even Opinion Kwame Jantua said that he doesn't even know why Raymond has been outed.
And I'm saying that Raymond has always been a key investigator in the media space. Long before maybe we started hearing of Anas's work and Manasseh's work and the rest, Raymond, on the days of the Enquirer and then the rest, was one of the very sharp investigative journalists. And he did not stop that part of the work, even after maybe he left mainstream media activity. He continued to do a number of things. And I know that he's done so many things because sometimes we speak and we share stuff. So he knows a lot when it comes to the area of financial corruption and movement of huge funds to people thinking that they have some safe haven somewhere. He has a lot of information, and that information will be needed. And one who has gone through such processes will help in collecting much more. Now that there is some atmosphere of what? Freedom, some independence have come. People will be willing to share information quickly. Okay. And so it is good to put such a team in place. And that is the reason why we campaign on the fact that let's elect someone with experience.
All right.
You see,
Adams.
Another person would have stayed out. Let me wait till 7th January when I'm sworn in before I begin to act. But President Mahama knows that there's so much information now. There's so much information from declaration to swearing in. And he needs to put some people in place to receive all this information, add flesh to it, and be able to hand it over and direct somebody. You see, this current administration, my last point
yes,
on this.
Please. I'll give you just a minute to land on that.
Made serious mistakes when they decided, for example, to stop all road projects when they came to power. It wasn't necessary to have done that. If they had done what President Mahama is doing, you can restrict the stoppage to just some areas that you know they were underhand dealing, whilst you allow the rest to go on. So part of their work would also be to be able to identify areas of concerns. Which contracts happened, what time? Was there value for money? If there is not, make sure that this one stops for further investigation, whilst the rest can go on
Mr. Adams.
to perform
Thank you very much.
Their function.
Ms. Isi, this particular list, Operation Recover All Loots, yesterday there was a list that came out even talking about the areas they are going to investigate. Some persons' names also popped up on social media saying that these persons are going to be investigated, some government properties that they took, some government lands they took, and all of that. Do you agree with Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa that they will not witch hunt, but rather they will be very transparent? Do you think they will be?
To be honest with you, I don't know the locus of the committee, the legal basis for that. And if my understanding is right, their operations is prior to the official inauguration and takeover of the president-elect, right?
Yeah.
I think they are starting somewhere any moment from now, right? Or it's post.
They've actually started. They had their first meeting yesterday.
Yes, so it's embedded, if my understanding is right, in the transition team. Committee's work as part of that is going to run parallel to that. Well, I don't know the weight it has, and from my understanding, is a gossip, corruption, fish hunting that they are doing. They've gone fishing for alleged corrupt acts and co. And that in itself doesn't send any hope to me that there's going to be anything good out of that, okay? And some of the areas they are talking about, cathedral, I just listened and said, what is that? That's a member of parliament.
You don't think the cathedral
Everything about the cathedral was brought to parliament.
No.
So don't worry. No. Parliament, if you don't have it, you have processes to say A, B, C, D were not brought. OSP is there. But what they are doing is to gather the gossips and then maybe sift through, and whatever conclusions they arrive at will be sent to a court, okay, or to the OSP and consequently to a court of competent jurisdiction. Because that is the only place you can establish the guilt or otherwise of any
What if they
individual.
get evidence?
That's what they are going fishing for, okay?
Yeah, so if they're able to gather the evidence,
political campaign, gossip, propaganda, and co., that is different. Now you say based on that you've made a promise, Operation Recover All Loots, fine. If there's any loot, but some of the things I'm hearing, it doesn't tell me there's going to be any serious this and out of the, particularly cathedral. And some are talking about land grabbing and all that. These are matters for legal, issues, okay? And whatever they do ultimately will be taken to the courts. So, it's a group that is going to sit to excite themselves. That's what I think. To excite themselves. That's what I think.
But some Ghanaians
and then look,
this, right?
yes. Look at these. When I was coming, you were speaking about the assaying thing, about the gold thing, supposedly. Okay, their national organizer. Fortunately, he was a former national organizer. National organizer Yamin, in the election periods, was seen in some warehouses with some people talking on phone, alleging that those were ballot papers and all that. Nothing, nobody protecting or running away, nothing. And then after that, he's gone arresting or, having problem challenges with a legitimate PMMC assaying process, okay? What is that? And then you put it out, headline, people running away with gold. What is that? And so that's part of the remit within which they are going to be operating with the committee. I wish the committee,
That's what you think.
The issue of being vindictive and other things, I don't think they're going to be. You get it? Because they've been given a job to do. I've read, some of the things that are going around about the individuals involved, the basis of. I was expecting Franklin Kujo to have been part, but unfortunately he wasn't part. Yes, Martin Pebu. People see that these are all individuals who are bitter against the government.
I thought you said it's not necessary. Now you are saying you were expecting some of this to be part. Something you said is not necessary.
No, it's not necessary to me.
Now you are moving on talking about you expected this person to be part. How were you expecting
Please let him make his
point.
Honorable, let him make his point.
I'm just only helping him to
Please let him make his point.
bring clarity to
Honorable, let him make his point.
Because I think it's much due by nothing. It's not going to inure to anything. Okay, but having said that, it's been set up. Okay, so, and I know I've been on platforms with some of these top CSO guys who were, when they were floating these things and co. I heard him being strong there, Professor Jampo and other people, even Pebu himself. I'm on a platform with these people. You get it? So these things came up and we had serious engagements and co on some of these things. And willy-nilly, Franklin is one person who has said he's volunteered to be part of that thing. So for whatever reason that they think they are obsessed about this kind of committee, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to achieve anything serious. The individuals involved. Some bring Domelevo's basis thing because he has an axe to grind with this government. So will he be objective and neutral? Well, let's see. Honorable said they would not be delving into that arena. So let's give them the benefit of that because his age issues and co, which ultimately made him, go on retirement. He disagreed, went to court, we know whatever. Kofi Boachi,
the court has
people,
ruled on that.
Yes, Kofi Boachi, people felt he thought he should have been an IG and didn't get it and all that, So these are the Honorable Kujetu himself, isophoton matters and all that. So let's see how it goes. You get it? Let them be objective and do their. But I thought that anti-corruption institutions already established in the country that can do these jobs. But since they are going to do fishing,
but they are not in power as of now. They haven't been sworn in, so they cannot use the anti-corruption committees that have been sworn in.
So what would be the effect and the impact of this?
I think we're waiting to hear that, right?
Streamline, and then when the president is sworn in, they go and hand it over to you. Is that the purpose? Okay, that A, B, C, D, we believe have been involved in this, so let's take them to the courts or hot.
Opinion,
Let's see how it goes. But I don't see anything serious coming out of
Perfect.
this.
Let's
see. For everything,
yeah,
you need evidence.
Right.
The people, and you see, in our discussions, we should not do away with the people. The people demand answers to some of the areas that they are going to investigate. And if the people demand answers, it is right that we start looking into it. When we asked President Akufo-Addo with regards to this 58 million, who has said anything from the NPP? It's been stone dead. No reason, nobody has given any cogent reason. The hole is still there. We haven't seen a pillar of the cathedral building there. I think what going forward, and it's only advice, what this new president should do, when you elect people to do a particular job, give us reasons why you have chosen those people.
Right.
If you give us the reasons, we won't be sitting here talking about it, trying to decipher, oh, why is this one in here? Why is this one not in here? Why didn't they choose this one, but they chose this one? Just tell us from the word go. We chose Mr. Y because of this, Mr. T because of this, and all that. The other thing is that this is gender bias.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes, I think...
There's no female
Yeah,
in
there's
there.
no female in there. I think now that we have a female vice president-elect, we should try and institute and put women in most of the things we do, because we are trying to build a political situation where women are also part of it. So I think that one, they erred a bit. They should have had at least, if not a couple, at least one woman in there. But as I said, it's the president-elect's prerogative.
It looks...
Women are not interested in vendetta.
No, but you see, the thing is that it looks as though every government that comes says to us or the citizens that we are going to, investigate, we are going to prosecute. If we find you guilty because you've taken state assets or you've taken some amount of money and all of that, you've looted the amount of money and all of that, we're going to prosecute. But any time they start, those who were in government try to fight it. So why are we fighting it if we didn't do anything? It's just a question here. If we didn't do anything, why are we fighting it? If it's free and fair. No, it's not just you. If you go on social media.
I disagree.
If you go on social media.
I think they wouldn't.
No, but
Mr.
Isi,
I've not fought it.
No, not you.
He has the right to
not you. But when you go on social media, there are so
That's
many people who are fighting it, who are saying that it's not of need, and looking at the persons who are a part of the group, there is a problem with it. And Mr. Kofi Adams says he doesn't agree there's a problem.
When you buy a mosquito repellent or spray, if the mosquitoes have capacity, they would have fought you from spraying using the repellent in the room. So when you see government people who have mouth, who have platform, and are fighting, it is because they know that action will be dealing with a wrong that they would have committed. So people don't fight something for nothing. They fight it because they feel there's going to be some sunshine. And like President Mahama has always said, he said corruption is mass murder. And the only other way to dealing with it is to bring sunshine onto such things. That is a cure to corruption, and he's determined to do so. Part of the determination to solving that problem is what it is that he has initiated. I, to some extent, agree with Lawyer Jantua on gender issue, but this is just a short-term assignment. It is not going to be a kind of permanent creation that will run through the entirety of what? His government. I believe when President Mahama takes over fully, based on the information that would have been collected by these five, then an arrangement as to how to deal with it, whether you want to go the traditional institutions, having corrected them, or you want to get another body to deal with it. I believe all this gender balancing will come in there. But it's a good thing, it's a great start, and for me, this is part of the reason why voting for experience is better than voting for someone who said is going to be Tieroba and brand new president. President Mahama has exhibited by this action that experience is very critical, experience is important.
Okay. I'll read some messages. I'll read some messages. This one says that it's only a criminal who hears the first sound of the town crier. Why should you be worried when you know very well that you are clean? SAP 0 from Hohoi. This one says that Mr. AC should allow the NDC to work. Okay, he says you should allow the NDC to work. This one says, good morning, Roslyn. AC is still doing his usual things. AC is... Good morning, Roslyn. The committee appointed by the president-elect, we Ghanaians have hope in them, and they will arrest most of the NPP appointees, including AC. Patrick from Bongo says, let President Mahama deal with the looters and capturers of the state and stop this issue about witch hunting. Under this government, upon all the scandals, not a fly have been tried by the selective AG. Mr. AC is not being fair to Ghana because he's saying that the operation Loot All will not yield to anything. Imagine a government collapsing a lot of banks because they were not having $9 billion, but only a hole without economic value as nothing big, bro. I see him shaking because Ghana's eye is red. I'm Inusa Sulemana. Rosalind, Ghana is an interesting country to be. Those who were once accused of corruption allegations are now rebranded as saints. We'll live to see how a lion would take care of sheep. Ghanaians should lower their expectations. Nothing will come out from this committee. My regards to MP Habib Idris. This one says, can the gentleman in red... Okay, unfortunately, corruption has become rampant in Ghana under President Akufo-Addo's administration. It's shocking to hear him defend the lavish spending of $58 million on an unfinished construction project. This is a blatant example of corruption and mismanagement of funds that has long plagued our nation. Hopefully, the anti-corruption committee will hold those responsible accountable, and Ghana will finally become the prosperous country we've all been hoping for. Good morning to you all. I'm Big G Tamale Central. Look, NPP government has destroyed every sector in this country. A five-member team are great personalities, or the five-member team are great personalities who work for Mother Ghana. Anybody who stole monies in the state coffers should better return before it is too late. Our country should be reset again. Good morning, Roslyn and Honorable Kofi Adams retaining his seat. Congratulations. I disagree with Kofi Adams' 80 years in power. If only you perform up to satisfaction of Ghanaians, that will renew your mandate. If not, they will kick you off. We have seen it in 2016. Mahama performed abysmal in 4 years. He was removed in office. We are hoping he will do better this time. Mahmoud Zabzugu. I'll read just one more and then we can take our next topic. Good morning, Roslyn. Yes. Okay. Good morning, Roslyn. Please, President JDM should be aware of false prophecies and concentrates on his manifestos when he promised Ghanaians, which he promised Ghanaians. Okay. I'm very serious about this men of God. They are okay. Yes, boss. We hear you.
Yeah, Roslyn.
Yes.
I think there are Whistleblowers Act. I think it's been passed by Parliament.
Yes.
Which one?
Whistleblowers Act is there, OSP's place is there. There are many avenues. But once this is just to gather information and then probably take it for prosecution, they have the right to do it. But I think this, I don't give any serious weight to the committee and what they are going to do. They are going for gossips and then move thereafter to see if they can get people to prosecute. We've seen 46 dockets taken to the courts of the land before under Betty Moldy Drisu. Professor of law was then the president. Not one conviction was secured.
Under the MPP, you took some persons to court as well. How many did you prosecute? How many did you jail?
Some are in jail. Not less than 7 or so have been convicted.
How many did you take to court?
You can get me the figures. Okay, I telling you what, and Kufuor's time, people went into jail. So look, if people did wrong to the state, they must be prosecuted, and there are avenues for such prosecutions. Okay. But this is something like vendetta. That's how some people see it, okay? And the individuals put on it, you know, it's a bit suspect. But having that notwithstanding, they've been assigned a responsibility. Let them go, do it within the legal framework, okay, within the law. If somebody looted the state, let them face justice. And the last one, on the cathedral, something that is estimated to have cost, the first was, I think, 200 and something million, revised to over 400, and even revised up dollars. And the consultant to the Ajais and co, how much did they take? If something starts in a building, you definitely dig foundations, and if you don't proceed, and I agree with the president and the team for the committee for suspending the work, because we got to a very critical stage in the state. You get it?
What are you saying?
Where, you know, economy was challenged. And so if you were seen to be continuing with that, it means you are impertinent to the difficulties and sufferings of the masses. You get it? So you should put a hold on it, and then at the right time, you continue. And once you suspend the work, definitely there's going to be a dark hole will collect water. The U.S. cathedral, the France, the cathedral there.
A whole $58 million US dollars was used to create a whole.
It passed through Parliament.
It passed through Parliament. You have lost power. I'm expecting you to say that we were
every expenditure passed through Parliament. Okay, every expenditure there passed through Parliament. Okay, if you can tell me a CD didn't pass through Parliament and it was misspent, let's go there.
Okay,
It's important.
That's it.
It's important.
It passed through
It's
Parliament.
important
There's much to do about
all right.
It's important for
especially the cathedral one.
Okay.
my constituents. When we finish this program, you should collect the videos and soberly go and watch. And next time,
Which video?
This for today's program.
Yeah.
You see clearly, you cannot continue defending this kind of misbehavior, rot, even after what has happened on the 7th of December have happened to you. Listen to some of your seniors. They are talking about some even miracles. Abwaji said you should have listened to Ghanaians and stopped this whole cathedral project. Even miracles. And you are sitting here still talking about a pass through Parliament. Which Parliament?
Yes.
Your finance
And you
minister.
got the resource.
Listen.
Yes.
Your
It doesn't
finance
make it
minister.
wrong.
Your finance minister himself, when he was to be impeached,
Jesus.
said he took the money from the contingency vote.
Yes.
Contingency vote would not tell you that it is going to be used for cathedral or it's going to be used for this. For every budget, you set some money aside for contingency, things you do not know. You speak for NADMO. NADMO is there to deal with disasters that you have not prepared for. So you put money in a contingency vote so that when such things happen, you will have money to deal with the situation. You have a situation where a project that the president said state funds will not be used. A project that you know of, now depending on the contingency fund, to the extent that most of the contracts in relation to that project were sole sourced. Sole sourced. And almost everything you find Ajayi in, you find Ajayi there, you find Ajayi here, you find Ajayi there. Sole sourced contract. So clearly, if we say that you set out to steal from the state and deceive the citizenry that project would not include a dime from the state, why should such a thing not be investigated? Especially when after investing $58 million of our money, what we see there is a hole. Today in Parliament, you can't even see there. Those times when you go to such area, we hardly experience mosquitoes. These days, it's become a site for mosquitoes. Yesterday, we had our 9 lessons of carols. As we sat there, we were encountering a lot of mosquitoes. Why? Because Nana Adodanko Akufo-Addo has created a good platform for mosquitoes to breed very well and spread them.
All right, Honorable. But you wanted to make a point.
Look.
Honorable.
It is not the action, it is the motive. Was this a national project? Was it even in the MPP manifesto?
No.
It was a personal promise that the president said he was given to
Read
God.
Article 58.
Was it? It wasn't in your manifesto.
The Constitution.
That
Executive President.
Kwejo, it wasn't in your...
Executive President.
The fact that's an executive president...
You know, one day
doesn't-
the ambulance was not in the manifesto.
Wait, please let him land.
In our manifesto.
Please, go ahead.
This was a personal relationship he has with God,
Oh my God.
and vowed to God that he would build a cathedral in his name if he won the election. He won the election. How he was going to fund it, he didn't tell us. It now turns out
He did.
that we have used government taxpayers' money, 58 million of taxpayers' money. Okay, even if we had seen that the building had gotten to a certain stage, we would have said, fine. So are you trying to tell me sinking 58 million in a hole, it shouldn't be investigated? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, nobody is saying that.
so what
Is that what you're trying to tell us? That we shouldn't investigate, even if it was $10, it has to be investigated.
Yes.
It's the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
So there is the right for the president-elect to add it to the list of corruption cases.
I don't have a
OSP,
problem with it.
OSP.
Yes.
Has he looked at it? Isn't it a good place for the OSP to look at? It's because, you see, the MPP are scared of President Akufo-Addo. So they
Scared how?
can't say anything against his wishes. Because if they could, they should have been the first people to go to him and say, Jack, this thing we are doing is going to cost us. Were they able to do it? When it came to the finance minister, when Ghanaians were crying that Kenofurata should be removed, how many MPs went to see the president?
It was the president.
They came back
And
with
we
their
paid the price.
Listen, they came back with their tail between their legs. Nearly 90 MPs coming to speak to the president. This wouldn't have happened in Darocha's time. It wouldn't have happened in the early MPP stalwarts. It won't happen. They will tell you straight, oh boy, the route you are going, forget it. Don't even go down that route. Did it happen? No. And the MPP have gone through what they've gone through because of the intransigence of President Akufo-Addo.
All right.
Unfortunately.
Now, talking about that, the president can now assent to the anti-gay bill because Supreme Court has dismissed 2 suits. Now, talking about the suits, one journalist and lawyer, Mr. Richard Delaskai, petitioned the court with regards to the anti-LGBTQ plus bill not to be assented to by the president. But yesterday, the case has been thrown out of court. And Openyi Kwame Janto, we've sat here and we've spoken about this particular conversation, this topic, we've spoken about it. Yesterday, finally, the court has spoken. They've thrown it out of court, stating that it's a premature case.
Rosalind, what did I say? I've been saying it from day one. President Akufo-Addo should have gone according to the principles and regulations of a bill leaving Parliament to come to him. If he did not agree, he should send it back to Parliament with his reasons. That is the channel in which he decides, I will not do it or I do not want to do it. You don't now leapfrog and say, oh, there's a case in court, so I'm waiting for that case. He should have done it there. I don't agree to this thing. Take the reasons back and let Parliament look at it. Or discuss with them what you want changed in the bill and then assent to it. Right now, what the court has said is what we were saying around this table. So, he should do the rightful thing. And I don't think he will do the rightful thing.
You don't think he
I
will
don't.
sign?
I don't think so. He's going to leave it for the next president.
Why do you
President
say
Mahama.
this?
If he would do it, he would have done it. The moment this
But
thing...
he still has time.
Wait. The
It takes
moment...
just a minute to
Listen, what did he tell us? He said he's waiting for the court case. The court case has come. I expected that last night he would have signed it and sent it back to Parliament. Or he would have given his reasons why he doesn't want to sign it. Has it happened?
Maybe it will happen today.
Let's see. And I'll tell you, I'll eat humble pie if he signs it before he leaves. I doubt it. It's not in his interest to sign it.
Why is it not in his?
He has powerful...
Ghanaians have called for it.
He has power... Tell me, what are some of the things that President Akufo-Addo has listened to the people? Tell me. Tell me some of the things President
He did a free
Akufo-Addo...
SHS, didn't he?
No, in terms of the people protesting about certain things.
Okay.
What has he listened to? He has powerful friends in the West who don't... Do you know, of all the things that have gone on, yesterday, BBC talked about this. Of all the things going on in Ghana, they talked about this particular case. He will not do it because he has friends who don't want him to do it. So he won't do it. Let him prove to us that he will do it. Today is when? Wednesday, Thursday. Christmas is when?
Next week Wednesday.
Next week Wednesday. He should give the Lord a present. Sign it. I don't think he will. I'll eat humble pie if he does, but he won't.
But what benefit does he get from his friends as he would choose his friends over a country that he governs?
Are you not my friend?
Uh-huh.
If I'm someone who wants some benefit, would I not consider you first? When he went to France, what did they give him? When he went to France, quite recently, what did they give him? Did they not honor him? Did they not give him the highest order of the French country? They gave it to him. So he does not want to, tamper the waters where his friends are concerned. So let's see. He doesn't listen to Ghanaians. He would rather go and sit on BBC and say things he's supposed to say here to Ghanaians before coming to tell us. So I don't think he will sign. But he should sign.
He should sign.
If he wants, you see, at this point, the MPP should start building confidence with the people again. They have lost confidence. They should start every step of the way. They should think through and start building confidence.
If he doesn't sign, will it affect them in 2028 elections?
Wasn't it one of the things that people have decided that they don't want them anymore? All the things we are talking about is part and parcel of the cocktail of things that Ghanaians have voted against the MPP. Ghanaians are dead against LGBTQI. They're dead against it. And if the people say we don't want it, as president, you go by it. Tell the people in the West, whoever, my people don't want it. And if they don't want it, I can't go against the word of my people, period. Has he? He hasn't.
Honorable Kofi Adams, if the president doesn't sign, will John Dramani Mahama, when, brought into power, will he sign it?
Well, if he doesn't sign, the whole bill is dead. Yes. We now have to start the entire process again in the 9th Parliament. That's what is going to happen.
Okay.
But once the 9th Parliament goes through the processes and get it passed, I know that President Mahama, knowing who he is, that he represents Ghana, will sign because that is what Ghanaians want. Okay. Ghanaians believe in the right that the human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bail. This is what it is. And I listened to Professor Techiwa Menu yesterday, who was talking about because somebody choose to be this and you say you are criminalizing the person. No. The bill, when passed into law, doesn't say that if someone is gay, that person is criminalized. Indeed, the bill makes provision for that person to be attended to. What we abhor is for you to get out there to engage in campaign activities, raise funds to try to draw persons onto that act. That is what we are completely against. But the bill is minded to make sure that anyone who has those syndromes is helped to get out of it, because we in Ghana here believe that our family values will not allow for such a thing. But you see, for our president, this was a president who knew about the court case even before the case was filed. The president spoke about a court case, that the issue of this bill is before court, even before the case was filed. So it should tell you that he was in the thick of affairs in terms of pushing for this whole court issue. And that was why many of us thought that the Supreme Court itself didn't help Ghanaians. I think they got themselves involved in the partisan process and into the election 2024 processes by helping the president not to even give his indication. But the good Ghanaians out there took the decision on their own, whether the Supreme Court gave its decision on it, for us to see that it was President Akufo-Addo and his MPP that were refusing to sign or not. The people decided, and they decided heavily against the MPP. Now they've been forced to do the right thing, which was right anyway, because you don't injunct the processes of passing a law. You only go to court to ask for interpretation when the president have signed. But they intentionally jumped, and Supreme Court knew this, and this shouldn't have taken Supreme Court such a long time to determine. But it was all guiding the process. Oh, we don't want Ghanaians to blame the MPP or President Akufo-Addo before elections. Now the elections
He
have
still has
decided.
about 2 weeks before.
And I'm
he gets
saying
off
that,
power, so he can still sign.
well, even if he signs now, they've lost so much. Like lawyer said, look, the president should have just done the right thing. Okay, I want to sign, or I'm not signing because of this, or I have referred this bill to Council of State for them to look into and advise again so that I will take a decision. He didn't do any of such things. He says we should desist from forwarding the bill to him. When we got back the last time before adjournment, Mr. Speaker indicated that the clerk to Parliament should send forward that bill to the presidency for his signature. So it means that it would have been forwarded to him even before this ruling. So, like it's been said, he has all the time to append his signature because he is very much aware of it already. The only reason he claimed was that because somebody went to court. Now that matter has been determined. It is up to him to sign or refuse not to sign. But for me, even if he signs it now, look, Ghanaians would have realized that when it mattered most, the MPP did not stand with them.
Okay.
Even when some of their MPs, look, at a point, there are one member who was involved in these whole MPs who were pushing it, was really warned and asked to what? Withdraw participation in the processes of sponsoring that bill. But when it got to the floor, of course, Mr. Speaker had a way of putting it, and nobody could stand up to speak against that bill, at least on the floor of the House. But I hope he signs. If he doesn't sign, this is a bill that will repeat in the 9th Parliament, and we surely will get
the process
president.
again.
We have to start the process again.
Okay.
We'll go through first reading, second, and then consideration stages, and maybe the third reading for the president, the next.
Will you
president.
fast track your process?
Sure, because it's already a bill that has gone through all the processes. So taking it through such processes again in the 9th Parliament will not take so much time to do. But it's unfortunate that we choose what we get from friends, what we get from our Western friends over what Ghanaians truly want. You see, if you go to even America,
I'll give you a minute to land, please.
the cost to these acts of LGBTQ++ is so huge, where even medical facilities are up to standard. The cost to them. Here we are in a country where cholera is still killing people. Cholera is killing people all over. And we want to introduce situations that will bring all kinds of ailments that we may not have capacity to deal with. That would have been increasing our health bill. And we sit here and say, oh, it's right, so let's allow it. No, we shouldn't allow
Okay,
it.
Ms. Adams, Mr. Isi, if the president doesn't sign, some people feel that it will make the NPP more unpopular because you have said that you are going to, revise, you're going to make sure that you reconvene, you're going to come back stronger in 2028. At this point, you need the president to sign. Do you think that your president will sign?
I'll be surprised if the president doesn't sign it. I'll be surprised. In the next 10, 17 days, I'll be surprised if the president doesn't sign this bill. I'm very confident he's going to sign it. Okay? The president is a human rights lawyer. Okay? And these matters came up. When they passed this, he said some people, my good friend Dr. Amanda Odo,
Please let Mr.
my good friend Dr. Amanda Odo, a researcher at the
Hold on,
University of
Mr.
Cape
Isi. Gentlemen, please let Mr. Isi make his point. I'm begging you. Thank you very much. I'm begging you. Yeah, but he's on the floor, so please let him make his point. Thank you very much.
I don't know what they are laughing about, that the president is a human rights lawyer or he's not a human rights lawyer. Okay, he is a consummate human rights lawyer, a consummate Democrat. And when the bill, was sent to him, he said, look, there are two people in courts, raising issues bordering on human rights. Let the Supreme Court make a determination on that. Thereafter, you can then transmit the document to me. Then I'll make the decision, okay? Before then, I think you should hold on to it. Because per the Constitution, once it gets to the president, he has about 30 days or so, some days, and if he is not ready to give it to Council of State, it gets back and then he makes his comment and sends it back to Parliament. Then Parliament will decide. If he has rejected it, they decide whether it should be passed by getting, I think, the 2/3 or whatever. Yes, so that it becomes law. So that remit is still there, for them. And the president said, let the Supreme Court finish. It went back and forth, back and forth. The basis for our loss could be a compendium of issues. The first issue we discussed, lawyer and my honorable MP believe is part of the reason we lost. These matter, they still believe it's the reason we lost. You get it? Okay. So, there are a lot. When we get to other areas, people will say it's the reason we lost. So people have different reasons.
So then are you going to solve the problems of what people feel
definitely
are the issues of why they voted against you?
Now, Rosalind, a president doesn't have any excuse. The Supreme Court has made a determination. So it is in the bosom of the Speaker of Parliament to officially ask the clerk to transmit the...
Will you be disappointed if the president doesn't sign it?
I said I'll be surprised. I told you from the get-go.
Okay.
Yeah. So to transmit now, there's no inhibition on the transmitting process to the president for him to either append his signature or disagree and make a reason for that. You get it? And I say I'll be surprised. The president has made it clear that he doesn't support these LGBT thing, okay? And I'm with the president. The vice president has also made it public. He's a Muslim. They are boys. So the issue of Ghana, embracing this. I remember BBC interviewed the president-elect, and he wasn't definitive and emphatic on his response on the LGBTQ bill. He wasn't too definitive.
On his campaign promise, didn't he?
No. People make... This is BBC interviewing you. You get it? So I was expecting him to be emphatic like Professor Bills did. You get it? So, Rosalind, I will be surprised. I'm expecting the president to get the bill by 29th, 30th, or by 6 maximum. He should append his signature, sign the bill into an act, and then we take it from there. Otherwise, as Honorable said, the whole process is going to be started. We saw the difficult journey they traveled. It's had a member from the Deputy Minister of Education, Reverend Ntimfo, was an integral part of the whole thing.
Was forced to ask him what happened.
He was an integral part of the whole process. Okay, so now they've done a yeoman's job. I don't support this LGBT nonsense. Forgive me my choice of words.
That's okay.
You get it, yes. So I'll pray the president, because now there's nothing stopping him. So let the process of transmitting get to him, and then I pray he signs it. Okay, so that we take it.
Since we have,
I'll be surprised if he doesn't sign it.
I wouldn't take that chance to comment on it. Since we have a member of parliament here, he'll probably be able to answer this question. So, if it so happens that the president doesn't sign and he gives his reason and goes back, and they have 2/3 majority, what's the process? Maybe...
Well, that was why we actually thought that the president should have just given the reason
if they get 2/3.
that the reason he wasn't signing was that the matter was at the Supreme Court. We were prepared to have garnered 2/3 in the 8th Parliament to have forced him to sign now. But the president refused to even accept the transmission of the bill to him, because part of the reason for refusal could have been that, this matter is before court, so I wasn't going to sign. Then it would have come back. It would have come back to Parliament for Parliament to use his 2/3 to now force him to sign, and that was what he didn't want to do. So he was blocking us from transferring.
He didn't block you.
If he doesn't sign, and this parliament expires, the next parliament, of course, we have 2/3. But the bill will have to still go through all the processes. It must get sponsors. It must be laid before the House, must be referred to a committee. The committee will have to do its deliberations, go through, bring their report. That report will be debated. Then it goes through considerations and what have you. Then it gets to the 3rd reading before you can send it back to a president to sign it again.
I hope you fast track it, though.
Of course, it is going to see a lot of fast
Because
track.
openly, we've been in this country,
but-
and you
but-
know, anytime
Rosalind,
processes start, it can
Rosalind,
take 4
but-
years.
Rosalind,
When it's
but
time
I-
for elections,
but
they
I
go ahead
believe-
and fast track
I
it.
believe President Akufo-Addo will have to sign it. We must
He will
force
sign
him
it. He will sign
to
it.
sign it.
He will sign
He
it.
should at least consider Ghana over his friends in Paris.
Oh, which
and
friend?
then
We know somebody who was in bed with the senior gay
All right,
loyalist.
so on this
Ghana.
note,
Rosalind, last
you know,
one.
talking
Rosalind,
about this,
Rosalind, Rosalind,
anytime
Rosalind,
before
if the
elections,
president
I'll
had
come
not
to you.
allowed-
I'll come to
Thank
you. Before then, anytime you know we are going into elections, there are issues that come up, and right after elections, we see it dying off gradually. Galamsey, we don't want it to die. We have to fight it to the end. We have to stop this menace. Lives are being lost out of it. Children are being born with cleft. So many diseases, kidney diseases and all of that. And so we are going to make sure that as a journalist, as a media house, we'll keep fighting it till we get good results out of it. Now, opening yesterday, a young man, 23 years, he died. He went to do Galamsey, and you know the whole collapsed on him. The pit collapsed on him, and he died. He went with I think 3 friends of his or 4 friends of his. 3 survived. He died. I mean, when will this stop?
You know, the team that has been put together to look at corruption, I think they're also going to look at Galamsey. The president-elect coming in should make it high priority. It affects everything in this country. Most importantly, water. Most importantly, death of young people. Most importantly, employment, jobs. Look, people are not going to stop searching for gold in this country. The entire stretch of Ghana is covered in gold.
Gold, yeah.
Call it alluvial gold, call it deep mine gold, call it surface gold. It is there. I have seen the map. When my father was local government minister, he showed me the British map of the reason why they call Ghana Gold Coast. And the entire country is lit with gold. There was actually a map that even showed how the world looked at Ghana's gold, and it was lit up. And so we should try as much as possible, the new government coming, they should try as much as possible to make small-scale mining a profitable business for people to do.
What about the shoot and kill that you suggested some time ago?
Did they do it? Because the miners have huge bazookas, huge guns. What do you call it?
But what about the NDC administration? Should they do the same?
Well, at the moment, let them look at what it is we can do to put this thing in a much better state for employment. Let them look at that first. That's the first point of call. And then, you see, one thing about the MPP that surprised me, none of the big guns who are financing Galamsey have been touched. None. Have you heard any?
Who are they?
Have you heard any? How are these young people getting money to do Galamsey? They must be financed by somebody. If for nothing at all, Akonta Mining is one of them.
No.
But when you,
Is a
there,
legitimate...
you know,
please,
there are
please,
people
please.
who probably are not
Could you-
members of NPP, but they are still involved in it.
Yes, yes. The government coming in should not look at only those who are MPP members. They should look at everybody. They should look at everybody who is trying to finance Galamsey. Look at the pictures. The whole subsurface of Ghana is turning into mud. It would affect our food. Most importantly, my area of profession, not the law, the energy sector, onshore, GMPC is doing what? They are looking for oil onshore. They found some good prospects in parts of the country. And when you look at the map, 3/4 of Ghana's land mass is said to be covered in oil and gas. If it's covered with Galamsey, how do we start exploring for oil and gas onshore? So it is important. It is something that needs to be stopped, and it's something that needs to be regulated and regulated properly.
Okay. Ms. Adams, what plan do you have to fight Galamsey?
Well, a lot of plans. Immediately is to deal with sustainable job creation, and also to make sure that mining is done in a sustainable way. There are ways you can do mining that will not destroy our water bodies, that will not destroy our farmlands, that will not destroy our
Example?
forests. Because what is happening now, even before I go into how we're going to do it, what is happening now has led to a lot of destructions of our farmlands, including our cash crop like cocoa. So today, the government is struggling to even hit 450,000 metric tons of cocoa when we had hit 1 million at the time they were taking over. And so the gold also coming from these Galamsey activities doesn't go through the proper channel. And so the state is not even benefiting in terms of taxes and other revenues that would have come to us. Now the farmlands is also being destroyed. So you are not getting enough farm produce to serve your people, to feed your people. You are not getting enough cocoa to be able to also export to make some money out of that process. So we are losing on all fronts. Health situation is becoming even precarious for us. Water bodies are being destroyed, left, right, center. So it is important for government to deal with such situations decisively. My recommendation among bouquet of issues is for the government, this government, the incoming administration, to first and foremost look at immediate job creation opportunities first, so as to place some stop on all these activities and redefine how to go about it. So the 1 million...
So what you're doing a state of emergency?
Sure, that must happen. The 1 million codes program should immediately be a way to create employment for the young persons as a stopgap means for those you will be taking off the Galamsey. You have some alternative for them. So the 1 million codes program, which is an agenda for this government, must immediately be implemented. Of course, the apprenticeship system, where you put persons to learn some skills other than going into Galamsey activities, must also be pushed strongly whilst we work now on in the area of sustainable small-scale mining that will not destroy our forests. So this 5-member team, one of the areas they would also be paying their attention to is this area. Of course, when the government takes over fully, number of steps will be initiated. Amongst them, solidly, of course, should be job creation, because unemployment is part of the reason why the young persons are willing to get into the pit.
Right.
If they have good and alternative means of making money, I don't think that many will subject themselves to such situations.
All right, Mr.
If we make them aware of the harm, we demonstrate vividly pictures of young persons that are being born as a result of their mothers inhaling some of these arsenic substances affecting the fetus in the womb. They are born deformed. When people see such things, when they see the level of distraction, I am sure.
All right, Mr. Adams, let me go to Mr. Isi to finalize our conversation for us. Mr. Isi.
Yes, it's unfortunate that we lost that young man. But maybe some of the reason is that my good friend and brother Koko Buahi had told him that if the NDC won, they were going to be allowed to go on a free-range spree.
You see.
Honorable.
Why this morning?
Maybe.
Christmas mood, though.
Look, I wish the NDC government well. I do. But I've seen them fight this anti-Galamsey thing before. Samuel Sapon, then Central Regional Minister, Inusa Husseini, they waged serious war and they gave up along the way. I pray when they come back. Inusa is one person I trust in the NDC. When he decides to do something, he goes all out. But that, he couldn't go all out. I agree with Honorable. There should be a regulated environment for the small-scale mining. People are there. We have done these alternative livelihood programs and policies for them. Somebody goes to the mine pits and gets back. A day he makes about 5,000 cedis. You're saying you should go and plant trees and do farming and go. They're not going to do it.
So what will you do then?
Challenges.
What's the alternative?
I was happy when Honorable said they are going to look at it and get a streamlined regime for the mining of gold, especially at the small scale level, so that there will not be destruction of our water bodies and forest reserve. That should be prime on their agenda, because the young people need jobs. And those within the mining enclave, I've said it, the Dentura area. I remember when I was gunning for regional secretary for the Central Region for my party, when I got there, they were asking me questions. That was when we had banned, you know, in 2018, there, we had banned mining completely. So it was something very dear to them, how to streamline that environment for them to do their business without infringing on any law. So I'm happy Honorable is on the plate and they are going to work on that. So, and going forward, all Ghanaians, we should come together to support. You see, we use this as a propaganda tool for winning power. Okay? Oh, it's MPP people, they are all into mining and coal. They are doing the Galamsey. Lawyer even said that MPP big win. He didn't mention anybody. You get it? Name
the original
people. He's a legitimate. He was mining and even John Mahama. No, he's a legitimate miner. You get it? So when we begin to brush all of them like that, it's wrong.
All right.
So now you have power. Okay, hands-on, whether they are going to stop hands-on from working. No. So let's allow the processes to work and let's get, look, last one. Sometimes let's see how even the big companies buy from these small miners. When they go and mine and you buy it, okay, are you not encouraging them to go again? Okay, mining water bodies and coal. If we can have a way of getting, you know, with the PMMC and this gold issue, part of this thing is that the way you mine your gold and then this is part of...
They don't buy...
Yes, they don't buy those ones. Okay, so if we enforce these things stricto sensu, then it's going to help to streamline the industry and get the young people to do legit business.
I also think that the big mining companies should be brought in terms of training. Right now, we've got to get this Galamsey thing in a formal way. Look, all these young people who are unemployed, if we formalize it, regulation is there.
And pay them well.
And pay them well and say that, look, you can go in there. A lot of them will go and do gold.
You know, when we've discovered oil in Ghana, because of how they were paying their workers, the amount of money they were making, we were not seeing illegal, you know, people going to drill for oil illegally because there's so much money in oil.
Apart from that, right now, what we should do, we should ban the export of bullion. All these big companies should refine the gold here. It is something, well, because of all the certification, we haven't been able to put it in check. But the government coming in should look at the export of bullion. Let's stop that. Refine it here because we get more money by doing so.
Rosa, my last thing.
We have to go.
Before you go, I beg you. I beg you.
Are you not going to come here?
I'll come. It's about
it might be a different topic.
It's good it went to the Supreme Court. You know, Supreme Court rulings become case laws and so. So now you know that if the thing is premature, you don't, you know, bring it for us to rule on. It must mature.
Mature before you... But Ms. Adams, how come, you know, a place like your constituency, we don't hear of these Galamseys happening?
Well, there were attempts to bring back our chiefs and persons decided that, no, we don't want what is happening in other areas to come. So there's a lot of clean water, pure food, and everything. So Ghanaians, if you are not getting the right thing to buy, come to voter and notice, you get the best.
It's like my chief.
They have nice mountains too there.
On that note, I want to say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen, for making time with us this morning. A big thank you to you, Openyi Kwame Jantoa Esquire, who represented the CPP. Of course, Honorable Kofi Adams, who represented the NDC, and he is the Member of Parliament for Buem constituency, and he has retained his seat, and also Mr. George Aisi, who represents the NPP. So,
second round.
Okay, so that's it. And before we go, of course, next week we are taking a break. It's Christmas, and so we'll take your Christmas messages before we go.
Well, we finish elections. Let's go out and enjoy Christmas, and let's make sure that we are safe, especially on the roads.
Right.
Especially on the roads. Please don't drink and drive. Please wear your seatbelt. And let's enjoy the birth of Christ.
Right.
Very important.
Honorable Kofi Adams.
Well, I associate with Lawyer Jantoa and to say that these are really time for sober reflections. Let's reflect, let's celebrate, and let's make sure that we ushering ourselves into a new year of hope, a year that we know many good things will come our way. I wish every Ghanaian out there and non-Ghanaians who are in Ghana and all those who are listening to us a Merry Christmas and, of course, a prosperous New Year.
Right. And Mr. AC?
Yeah, Christmas is for family reunion. Let's come together, bring everybody together. Let's share good food. When we're growing up, you know.
I know, right?
Fun time, all that.
And the
Talking about sharing that.
Struggle for
You know?
Christmas is available every day.
And the last,
So, but you see,
and
there
I
are some
think
children out
especially
there.
my MPP
Yeah.
people, the elections are over. Let's re-energize, reinvigorate ourselves, and chart a supportive course for the building of our country. Our leader said it, that he's there to support them. That's why he considered
The elections-
so early.
the elections
and
are
let's
over.
celebrate Christmas.
Okay. so
After Christmas, we'll rebuild.
We'll rebuild. Now, talking about
Christmas is when you feel the loss the more. After Christmas is when you feel the loss.
talking about that,
After
we
Christmas
are
is when you feel the loss.
We are
When you
going
are not
to put smiles on the faces of the children of Nyamidua Children Home. Yes, that's the name, Nyamidua.
Oh, that's good.
Nyamidua Children Home, yes, so, the orphanage. So we are calling on you. The whole year has been good for you. You are looking at sharing love, but you don't know who to give it to. So we are going there to put smiles on the faces of these children. You can send us a message to us on our WhatsApp number, which is 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. Tell us that you want to support them. We'll call you and you let us know what you want to give to them. It can be food items, it can be water, it can be drinks, you know, it can even be clothes, but we are not taking old clothes. We want to give them new clothes. We want them to feel, you know, that newness. They also have to wear some. You know what we mean? So let's support them in our own small way. If it's 100 cedis you want to also give, you can give. If it's 200, 10,000, 100,000, whatever little that you have, you can bring it. Toiletries, dairy products, you know, all the things. When I talk about toiletries, I'm talking about the soap that they can use to bath, the soaps that they can use to wash, their toilet rolls, all these items, and bring them to us so that we can go and give it to these children. They are our future. And unfortunately, what is happening to them could happen to any member of your family. See them as yours and support them. It's the Nyamidua Children Home. So we'll go to them on the 1st. So support us. Send in a message to us on 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. And then we will reach out to you, and then you can go ahead and do your donation, and we'll give it to them. We'll definitely give you a mention for the world to know that you did this for the children. And I know Nyamidua is around, I think, Fafaha.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's at Fafaha.
So you're going on the 1st?
Yes, we're going on the 1st. So, Openyi, are you?
Adenta
something?
Fafaha.
I think that my guess. So, Openyi, I'll take a contribution from you.
No problem.
Mr. Honorable Kofi Adams, you are a member of Parliament.
Why are you
Shouldn't
going?
it be anything less than 5,000?
I might even join.
Hey,
He's going to his constituency.
don't worry. Members of Parliament already are stressed in their constituencies.
And then, Mr. Georgia, you see, you are still in government. I'm coming for money from you.
No,
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
That more relocated to That more relocated to
You're going to come out in this festive season, and you don't have a place to go and rest. Now, I'll tell you about the Lancaster.
Jessica in his constituency.
Yeah.
That was when they gave me rice and groundnut soup. I was shocked.
Oh,
Yes. Next time, rice and groundnut soup. I said, what?
The local rice.
It was there.
Brown rice.
Yeah, look at brown. Yeah,
Oh,
very
that's
nice.
nice. That's
So I looked at it. I said, what
Yes.
is
so
this?
give us something to give to the children.
Oh, sure, we'll give
Yes,
something.
yes, thank you very much for that.
but
So
I
we are
enjoyed
going
it.
to Kumasi, and going to Kumasi, I'm hoping that, will any of you go to Kumasi this festive season? I will. You will, open you. So,
He's going
It's a
to.
royal.
please go and lodge at Lancaster Kumasi.
No, I have a house. I'm going to spend it.
That is all. I'm watching there.
I'm going to spend
All
it
right.
with my mother.
So, okay, so if you are spending with your mother, but for those of you who are going there, you don't have a family members, you go to.
No, he's going to spend spend it with the mother. Then you should take the mother to Lancaster.
Yes.
My mother is 94. She can't go
Oh, yeah, so she must go to Lancaster.
Go have lunch there. Go have dinner. They have, you have amazing ambience, and the food tastes so good. So this festive season, go to Lancaster, Kumasi City. They will serve you. Trust me, you won't regret it at all. The food is so good. The ambience is good. See, I have been to hotels and I've seen cockroaches. Yes, but trust me, nothing of that sort at Lancaster. It's actually one of our best hotels we have in Ghana.
City Hotel.
Yes. So go to Lancaster, Kumasi
Golden
City
Tulip.
and enjoy. They have the pool
And it's next door to
side.
Ratri Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can enjoy the road trip.
And when
and then
you know
go.
when you lodge in, you can actually have access to the pool, the gym. I mean everything there. So just go, and it's free breakfast too when you sleep there. So it's bread and breakfast. So go there and enjoy your time.
It's already embedded in
That's free.
Anyway,
It's embedded in the bill that you see.
all right. So on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. This festive season, Franco Trading Enterprise is giving you up to 40% discount on all phone accessories. So make sure you pass by our shop or any of our shops, okay? Just pass by, or you can pick the number on the screen right now and contact us. Or to make things very simple, you can download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still and still, phone pepper pair.